A very good morning from the Southwest Coastal 300. I have left my accommodation in Creetown and today I'm going to be driving the section of road from Newton Stewart over towards Dumfries. But I'm only 20 minutes into the road trip and I have already stumbled upon this, the Bigwater of Fleet Viaduct. What a way to start! So the area that I'm in is called the Bigwater of Fleet Valley, and the viaduct essentially crosses that valley. The line was opened in 1861. The viaduct has 20 arches and it looks like the pillars are made of red bricks and the arches themselves from stone. Some danger signs there in the park. One about adders, one about ground nesting birds, another one about ticks, and then the dangers of fires and barbecues. Probably not too bad in this weather. It is very damp and cold. Going through now a little hole in the wall there, the stone wall, and this is the view now from the back of the viaduct. I'm hoping to get up onto the viaduct itself, and I'm thinking if I follow this little pathway up, I may just be able to walk across it. I made it up onto the viaduct. I'm just walking across it now, and it's incredible to think 100 years ago trains would have been whizzing across this viaduct. I doubt very much if there was any public access to it. I want to give you a little bit more history of the viaduct and also give you some of these views that I'm seeing as well. So let me start with the views. That is the viaduct ahead. And if I come round to the right first of all, you can see plenty of forest around, but also a river and a road that runs underneath the viaduct itself. So the viaduct in the Second World War was used to move not only supplies across, but also US troops, would you believe. It was sadly closed down in the 1960s to save money. And there used to be a second smaller viaduct in this area as well, but it was blown up in a training exercise by the army. So we are very lucky that this one didn't meet the same end. Okay, I think I'm going to head back across the way I came, back down to the car and get back on the road. Briefly at a little town called the Gatehouse of Fleet. Currently walking through a wooded area. I saw a sign in the car park that said that there was an old mill house here, so that is what I am heading for. So it looks like we're still inside Galloway Forest Park. Incredible area, and looking behind the sign there's a picture, I guess there, of how it used to be. Is an old girls' school built in the early 1800s. It is on the edge of a lake. There we go. No roof anymore, but we can see the fireplace and the door over in the far corner. Let's go around a little bit further and see what else is lurking. Ah, the main door. Wouldn't that have been nice back in the day? The main door coming out, and in front of you is this lake area. Definitely nice to spend a little bit of time in the woods. There were some lovely trails leading around the lake and along by the river. I saw a golf course over there, plenty of dog walkers, lots of little streams with these quaint bridges that you could cross. Definitely a nice area. I then took a stroll up the high street where I found a few stone churches and local stores. Another really good place just to take a stroll through and people watch, I guess you could say. But I'm now standing very close to a bridge that crosses over towards the mill. So let's take a look just around the corner here. Lovely little white bridge once again. And over to my left now, on the river, is the old mill building. What a sight. I think over there on the right hand side as well is the wheel that drives the mill. Let's go and take a closer look at that. A little piece of history right here in the town. A wooden structure and the old original mill wheel. There we go. And the mill in the background. Right, I think it's time to head off to my next destination.
I'm aware of the bonds that were created today. When you told me that sure there's a way. The water's so still and my pain has gone away. The air is much cleaner after it rains. Follow my love, the scent that's in spring air. Follow the moon into the sun. There's a call for new beginnings here, but the sorrow of yester disappeared. Let your body be new.
I think it's lunchtime. I am getting hungry. 2 white rolls today, a packet of crisps, a chocolate bar, a protein bar, an apple, and a can of Fanta. And the views today, here on the south coast of Scotland, that will do me just fine. I believe that is the islands of Fleet out there in the distance, not far away. There is a little beach here in the foreground, but yes, indeed, this is gonna do me.
I'm a wanderer of the soul. Before the end, I plan to behold, but I know I'll lose myself along the way. What's gone is gone. What's past is past. Let me leave what belongs in the past. Road ahead is quite unclear. Let me walk it despite fear. The road stretches over the hills, and I've got many debts to pay. Some are on their own way. My pain is not gold. You can't take everything with you when you go. Is your life fading more than you know? A state of mind.
It is blowing a gale here, and I have arrived in, so the town that I'm in, I'll put the name of it just down here somewhere. How would you pronounce the name of this town? I think I would go for Kirkcudbright or something along those lines. Well, the actual pronunciation, as I have found out, is Kirkcudbright. Very difficult when you're just reading it on screen. Right, I am standing in a little park area in the town. I'm overlooking the River Dee. This is the only town on the Solway coast with a working harbour, so we're going to try and find that. There's also a castle, we're going to try and find that, and a toll booth. We are definitely going to find that. But for now, we've got a little white cottage here on the waterfront, and this is the scene. As I said, the River Dee The bridge that I came across is just on the right side here, and there are some ships and boats out in the harbour, so let's go and take a look at those. We have a low tide here on the River Dee. We are right at the mouth of the river as it turns into the sea, and you can see all of these boats lined up in the shallow section of water, just keeping afloat. And as I pan around, at the end of this pier is the marina for the town. As I keep coming around, you will be able to see the bridge that I travelled across to get here, and then on the right side of that is the harbour. We can check that off the list. I have found the harbour of Kirkcudbright. This white van is coming around from Castle Street, and where there is a Castle Street there is usually a castle. You can see some nice stone buildings ahead of me. One's a church, and then on the left hand side here, centre of the shot now, is the War Memorial, and to my left is MacLellan's Castle, a 16th century ruined castle, but it looks like they are either repairing or restoring it. There is scaffolding out, so maybe in the future you'll be able to go in and visit, but for now it is closed, definitely locked up. Or in fact, usually you can look, because it says here between April and September an adult costs £4.80 to go in and have a look. Just walking past the church now, and it's fair to say that some people refer to Kirkcudbright as the artist's town, because it does seem to attract a lot of painters and artists and people who enjoy the arts and the crafts. Up there is the church tower. You can see it is 4:15. Time is getting on. I've got to find this high street, find the toll booth, and then start making my way out of town, I think. Straight ahead is the town hall. I am close to the toll booth. It is just behind me. I'll show you it in a minute, but I've got to say this is a really nice high street, one of my favourites so far on this trip. It is lined with many different building styles, including some pastel coloured homes. It's got some art galleries, some flint houses, and even one that looks like a castle. There's lots of different little lanes that lead off beyond the high street. Some of them you can go through, some of them you can't. And onto the toll booth. This is a building that was erected in the mid-1600s. It was intended to be the head of council and also the centre of the town's commerce. It fulfilled that purpose until it outgrew it, and then afterwards was used for many different purposes, including a jail, a prison. And it's interesting to note that just over 200 years ago, someone was imprisoned in that toll booth for witchcraft. Fantastic place. Every time I turn a corner I see different buildings lit up nicely in the sun. Lots and lots to see here. Really, really pleasing on the eye. But I think my time in Kirkcudbright has come to an end. I am going to head back now to the car and get back on the road once again. arrived at my final destination in this video, and that is the absolutely stunning Sandyhills Beach. Look at the colour of that sand, the ocean, the sky. The water, I've got to admit, there's not as much of it as I thought there might be, but there is a very low tide. Tomorrow morning I will be in Dumfries, so make sure that you check out my final video in this Southwest Coastal 300 road trip. I've got to admit, I haven't seen as much of the coastal areas today as I thought I might, with it being a coastal trip, but we did see some fantastic towns and villages and lots of really good road as well. So I will thank you very much for joining me in this video, and I look forward to seeing you in Dumfries in the next one. Signing off from the Southwest Coastal 300 and Sandyhills Beach.